This is Impact Signals, AI for social impact, disaster response, and the systems people actually have to run.
And I'm Sarah. We track what is useful, what is risky, and what teams need to know before the next decision point.
It's May 27, 2026, episode 60. Today, the through line is public service AI moving out of demos and into operating systems. City budgets, refugee support, government access, and disaster communications.
The useful question is not whether the model is impressive. It is whether the workflow is accountable, source-bound, and usable when people are under pressure.
Start with local government. ClearGov launched an AI-powered financial engagement platform meant to turn city budget data into plain language summaries and interactive visuals for residents. Smart Cities Dive reports that Rochester Hills, Michigan saw hundreds of resident comments in an early pilot, with Cleveland, Placer County, and Southwest Public Libraries also participating.
That matters because public budgets are usually where trust breaks down. The signal here is not a chatbot replacing the finance office. It is AI as a translation layer between complex public data and residents who need a real way to respond.
Second, Nigeria launched GovGuide, a meta-backed AI chatbot for public service access. TechCabal reports that the tool was built with Nigeria's Communications Ministry, NCAIR, and Publica AI, using Meta's open-source Llama models to provide government service information through multilingual voice and text on the web.
The practical test is coverage and accountability. A multilingual interface can lower the first barrier to service access, but only if citizens can tell when the answer is official, current, and connected to a human escalation path.
Third, the International Rescue Committee's signpost work continues to show what humanitarian AI looks like when it is treated as infrastructure. In a Tech Talks daily conversation, Andre Heller-Payrake describes signpost operating across roughly 30 countries and 25 languages, reaching more than 20 million users, and supporting more than 500,000 digital social work consultations.
That is the strongest pattern today. Trusted information is not a side channel in displacement. It can be as operationally important as logistics, shelter, or medical referral because people need to know what is safe, available, and real.
Fourth, Crisis Lens is a prototype aimed at disaster communications when bandwidth collapses. The project describes compressing disaster scene information into roughly 200-byte emergency payloads for low raw and mesh-tastic-style networks, where voice and images are not realistic options.
Even as a prototype, the design constraint is useful. Disaster AI cannot assume cloud bandwidth, perfect devices, or comm operators. Sometimes the product requirement is send the minimum structured signal that helps the next team act.
Fifth, a Korea Times opinion piece argues for AI-assisted disaster response using weather patterns, flood modeling, local vulnerability data, and population movement signals to identify where crises are likely to emerge and which communities are least equipped to withstand them.
That is familiar territory for impact signals. Prediction is only valuable if it changes action before harm compounds. The missing layer is often not the model. It is the handoff from forecast to warning, from warning to response, and from response to accountability.
Two funding and challenge signals are also worth tracking. UNHCR has announced an innovation accelerator for humanitarian innovations, and the Call for Code Global Challenge is focusing its 2026 AI work on human trafficking and human rights protection systems.
For builders, that means the opportunity space is getting more specific. Not generic AI for good, but deployable tools with field partners, rights protections, and a path from prototype to use.
The takeaway today, AI for impact is becoming more operational, but the standard has to rise with it. If a system touches public money, refugee information, disaster response, or government access, the bar is source support, clear ownership, and escalation when the model is not enough.
That is the briefing. Review the notes and source links before treating any of these as production patterns.
Find the notes and source links at Impact Signals AI.
Stay ready.